if you don't believe in yourself, I should come through the screen right now. Like, why don't you not believe in yourself? I'm not talking about the people that's a whole nother video. Like, when you start believing in yourself, like, and you got, like, there's a whole nother discipline. You got to be able to consistently do it day by day. And you're starting to, like, figure out how to consistently, believe in yourself. Because every day is different, right? But it's the people that I'm talking about that just zero flat, point blank, don't get off the ground. They want this desire. They want to do all this. They want to do this in life, but they choose to dumb their goals down to make themselves benefit, like make themselves feel better. Like they have this big vision. They don't want to go for the big vision because they're doing too much. Like they don't want to try their hard. They rather sacrifice going on a lower path to kind of satisfy not even just the ego, but just satisfy themselves just in general. Like, hey, I don't want to do that. I don't believe in myself to be able to achieve these things. And that's where it's like, if you don't believe in yourself, then who is? If you don't believe in yourself, then where are you going to accomplish in life, and you're going to be satisfied with yourself? Pretty much what this challenge, with everything that I'm doing, what is coming together is I am speaking from a relatable standpoint, like job, work, trading, like this. I'm speaking from a relatable standpoint where it's like, and helping my ideas or understanding what I'm doing is trying to my best to kind of speak on things that I saw that I'm like, okay, this really helped me. Okay, this really helped me. Okay, this will really help me, and kind of giving back. So, right, that's the idea. So, if you're not believing in yourself, what's really been helping me is you gotta ask yourself that if you're not believing in yourself, then what are you doing? What are you gonna be doing for the rest of your life? What are you gonna be really feeling yourself like if this is your life, right? And your life is to end right now. What would you be satisfied? What would you wish you have done? What was the things you wish you had even tried and accomplished? And the best thing that I can help that has been helping me is looking yourself. Stop looking in the present. You look in the present, you're done. Because you're only gonna be looking at the physical state. You're only gonna be looking at the physical state of your life and the emotions and everything that's attached to the present. Start tapping into the spirituality. Again, I use God, Christ. But if you, wherever your higher power is in that, in the moment or whatever you believe in, thinking about in the future or what you want to become, then lock on to the future. So you want to be a disciplined trader. So if you want to be X, Y, Z, you got to start acting as if you're that before you become it. And I think a lot of times we just focus on the physical state and emotions and things like that. It's never going to work because you got bills, you got life, you got things. Something's always going to be a pain or a reason for you not to believe in yourself in the present. Every single time, it's not going to happen. So what you're going to have to do is start. There's no way of talking about manifestation. You're going to have to start believing in yourself to the point where I am acting in my future, but I'm using it as my present, and I'm going to then my future is going to start lining up, shifting my physical state into the morphing to what I've been pursuing mentally and the future state. So that means if I'm a disciplined trader, I'm gonna start becoming a disciplined trader. If I want X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna start doing these habits that as if a disciplined trader would do, right? And ultimately I'm going to have to become what I think I am. But you just gotta have the idea of doing it right now. The present is to be able to dictate what you're doing in the future and making sure that you're doing yourself and really making yourself, setting yourself up for success. I think just a lot of people just don't believe in themselves, what they can do and what they accomplish, and that's I got scriptures and stuff like that talking about like how we are God made in God's image and things like that. It's just really trying to hone in what you can do is possible. What you can do is what you can do is possible, and what you can do is it's just in general, like in life. Like this is where we're supposed to be controlling your own path and not letting life just happen to you. And this is where you can kind of get the reins and kind of be able to I want to control my destiny. But how do you control your destiny? So the best way for me to explain how the best way you control your destiny is believing that what you are and what you want to become. Write it down, do what you got to do, but really focus on what you want to do. Be very attentive, be very aware of the decisions that you're making, and tell yourself, is it aligning if I was wanting to be the person that I want to be myself in the future? I need to be doing it now. I can't wait. If you do wait, it's never going to happen. It's hard for it to manifestation if you're never practicing and doing the things that it takes to become what you want to become in the future. So I won't dive in too much. It's going to be a longer video, but this is the core concept is just kind of believing in yourself, then taking it to another step, which is after believing in yourself, then start doing the rules and the things that you would do if you was seeing yourself in the successful state that you want to be in this future. Doing it now. Do every nook and cranny. I mean, you should be darn near, you be thinking you are that person. You doing everything that person would do. And that when you start thinking like that, even though physically nothing has changed, right? It's going to start changing. it's going to start. It has to. You're thinking in a higher level. You're thinking in a higher level state. So if you're thinking in a high level state, it just automatically your physical state and physical things are just going to start morphing into something that you are trying to become. Like, it just has to happen. But the first step is you gotta believe in yourself, and the second step is going to be, in my opinion, just going to be looking into that future and making sure that you're aligning that every single day. And that's going to be another video, because every single day you're going to have that knee-jerk reaction to go back to your old self. You're going to have that knee-jerk reaction to go back to the old ways, back to those old patterns that you're trying to break. So that's a whole nother video. I feel like that's because that is deep within itself. But the first thing is, we gotta start, right? We gotta start somewhere. I'm telling you, you gotta start somewhere. If you believe in something yourself, you got business, dream, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, different goals. The concept is the same. Believe in yourself so you'll be able to pursue the dream that you're trying to do in general. So I hope that gives you some motivation. I hope that gives you some ideas. I'm going to talk about next is the trade that took Friday. It was the second trade, so I don't want to talk too much of the video because I do want to get into the concept of the trade and then kind of look into that. So, but yeah, so I'm going to get into it.
What's going on with you guys? So we're finna talk about how I was able to take this trade, 100-tick move, going for buy side again. This was the second trade, the second W for the Friday session, New York session. Used 1120 to 1140 macro, and I'm gonna show you kind of how to differentiate, like different setups where this could be your trade, but I waited for more confirmation, and I didn't have a big stop loss, and wouldn't get stopped out because I have took this trade before and have been stopped out before. Unless you put your stop loss below the swing, which you can, but where I trade is proportion blocks, and I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to do that using multiple time frames. So we're going to go back and replay right here just so I can show y'all. So on the 1 minute, if you stay on here on the 1 minute, I have another screen. I have the 15-minute and the 5-minute, and it's kind of important to me because then on the lower time frame, I can kind of look or do a better job of gauging when to get in, when not to get in. And this, to me, when this got inversed, yes, this is technically your low, high, low, low, and this is technically your breaker, but then your stop technically has to go below here. It's just a big stop in my opinion, which is nothing wrong with it. So the way I knew not to get in was if you go to the 2 minute, you will see that we had came up to that high right there and then started shooting back down. And if you can see this fair value gap right here, so I'll move this to the way. You can see this 2 minute fair value gap right there. That, in my opinion, when we was up here, I was like, okay, if I do get in right here, the stop loss has to go below here. So either A, you can get right here, which I didn't because I want more confirmation. But I'm looking at a 2 minute, looking at a 3 minute, like it didn't look clean on the higher time frame. This is a 3 minute come from. Maybe this is a 5 minute fair value gap. We're gonna use 3 minute right here. You can see when we came down, we inverse this fair value gap. And when inverses, I want to wait for this price to kind of make this back balance. Like we went down, up, and we didn't do a single pass. So it's not necessarily a BPR. It is a fair value gap. Again, the way that I trade is more confirmation. So I just kind of wanted to wait for us to get that more bullish confirmation going up. And again, going to multiple time frames kind of showed me. Go to the 5 minute. Yeah, you can use a 5 minute fair value gap as well. Right here, and we inverse that. When we inverse that, I'm not just looking for us to get in right here and have a stop loss below here. I'm looking for us inverse. Then when we inverse, okay, I'm expecting some type of like, even in this case on 5 minutes a wick, but on 1 minute, which is filling price back down, and I'm waiting for something like that, and then getting in right here, then put my stop loss like right here, right? Because I'm like, okay, if this is the 5 minute inversion for fair gap in real time. Again, I'm seeing this in all real time. I'm not longing up here. Even though I got in at the same time, right, the same entry, I'm waiting for us to that wick, or in this case, it's not a wick. I can see actual price, right, for us to come down. In this fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, hold that, come back up, see that we're responding right here off this little fair value gap right there. You can see it right here, bullish fair value gap, wick off, boom. I'm getting into the trade. Stop loss go below here. So up in there. Stop loss something like this. Aiming for those highs, or aim in this area right here, and that was a trade right there. That was it. But the idea was again looking for that confirmation, right? It definitely could be in right here, but you can see how much more drawdown you're in and how big your stop is, right? We got in at the same time, but I was able to kind of like You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like manipulate the trade a little different and have the same target, same TP. Does not always happen like this. It's not 100%. But again, that's why I wait for breakers and order blocks. Because even though this was a breaker, you see us come down. We tapped in. This is order block. Then as we're moving up, we have two proportion blocks on two different time frames. If I was zoom out, but if I want to stay on this time frame right here, you got a proportion block right here. Right? You got, I don't know what my thing is. Oh, it's like, what is it? Your proportion block right there. Then you have another proportion block right here. So you have like a proportion block inside a proportion block. But again, this is a bigger proportion block if I go to a higher time frame. Long story short, you can see that we respected that guy in right below midnight, and again for these highs right here. So that's how I was again looking at the trade. I'm looking at order flow, and again I was kind of bullish. You got low resistance liquidity. You have, along we had targets and objectives, right? Got buy side right here, all that good stuff, and then low resistance liquidity, which we had no stop runs, right? So price just kind of just smoothly came up there and took those people out of the trade. So yeah, that was me. Like I said, that was the trade that I took. I was confident seeing and on the high time frame. I was bullish. You have to watch other videos because I talked about on the high time frame why I was bullish. And this way I was kind of talking about that second entry technique or idea. Again, I take proportion blocks for value gaps, breakers or inversions for value gaps. And again, just being a little more patient on when I take those. Usually in this side macro, in this case it was 1120, 1140. And yeah, that's definitely in the trade. And